that does it. This senseless destruction of innocent food has got to stop. Party poopers! Pepperoni pirates! Pizza wreckers! Victory! Mount Trashmore is ours!
My number one favorite thing to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, me too. I love talking.
Robson cracks down on what
About this fucking guy.
his skills assure us. No taxpayer dollar straight.
Now let's hear a little more.
Robson put the lottery thief away.
Okay. As we saw in the famous documentary, he put the lottery thief away.
We hate you.
Haven't played that in a while, so I'm going to throw that in there.
Oh man, I'm just distracted by that like Microsoft default MIDI sound they got going on there.
Yeah, the guitar. All right, this is the 244th episode of Rock Hard Caucus. Today is April 11th. You are likely listening to this on April 12th, or maybe even 13th. But don't wait any longer than that. This is fresh content. It has an expiration date.
You have to listen immediately, or not at all.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you either listen within 2 days of release or don't listen. Those are the rules.
Yep.
Last week, Evan and I spent a good, decent chunk of the show talking about Rob Sand and his new Accountability for All agenda as part of his campaign for governor. We don't get a ton of feedback because this show isn't like super widely listened to. I think is probably the number one reason why we don't get a ton of feedback about the things we say on the show.
We're also probably pretty easy to dismiss and not take seriously.
There is that. But you know, we talk to friends talk to us about the show, that kind of thing. But people we don't know typically are not like weighing in and telling us like, hey, I didn't like what you said about X, Y, or Z. But last week, we did get a little bit of pushback from somebody. I'm not going to read their comment, but basically they felt that we, weren't maybe being consistent or fair in our discussion last week of the Accountability for All agenda. And I thought, okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this because God knows we've spent plenty of time talking about Rob Sand. And that's, I think, part of the reason why last week's episode maybe doesn't stand on its own that well. Because we have spent so much time discussing this guy over the entire course of the podcast, which has been going since 2019. Mm-hmm. He has been a central figure in Iowa politics the entire time we've been talking about Iowa politics. And fundamentally, the reason that I do not like him is that he is a wealthy conservative.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, you kind of have to listen to everything I say about him with that context in mind, that he is a wealthy conservative, and I can't get past that.
Mm-hmm. We also can't really talk about our real politics on here, you know. We should start every show with a disclaimer that, we're on the political left somewhere, but I can't say exactly where.
It's illegal to say.
I mean, Rob Sands kind of put himself out there. He'll talk to anyone. Well, he wouldn't talk to us. And he also doesn't really ever seem to address any, even, like nominally progressive issues in his campaign.
Correct.
And my whole thing with the campaign platform is like, it's the dressing up as like, he's like the most centrist guy ever. He wants to be like, and like he's doing interviews with like Ezra Klein, or, he's getting puff pieces written about him in the New York Times because there's a segment in the Democratic Party that, wants to double down on like third way Clinton centrism. And he is 100% the embodiment of that.
He said in interviews that Bill Clinton is the reason he decided to be a Democrat when he was a teenager, and he was looking at both sides that he felt were not adequate. But this one has Bill Clinton, so I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
I know, right? And then like the whole platform is like, oh, we need to like change the political system. But like, if you think that is going to do anything to benefit candidates who aren't like Rob Sand, like this whole platform, is to benefit guys like him, guys with money, guys who have, very moderate politics. That's like you said, it's not even fair to call him a moderate. He's a conservative. Yeah. He's basically telling you that like his entire fucking campaign.
I think I saw something, like, if I can give him any credit, he sent an email this week reiterating that he would veto any further restrictions to abortion
right.
if he's elected governor. So that's about the best we can expect from Rob Sand. But yeah, if you listen back to the entire 243 episodes of the show up until now, you'll maybe get a better idea of where we're coming from. And I mean, I guess we should maybe say this explicitly as well. We get it. We understand why he campaigns the way he does. I understand the strategy from, I think two driving motivations. One, don't rock the boat too much because my father-in-law's money is why I'm here. So you don't want to upset his source of income. So don't talk too much about fixing the environment and fixing agriculture and stuff. And two is you can't really win probably statewide as like a liberal lunatic.
So my thing is like the Iowa Democrats have spent, a couple decades, suffering embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have like lost and at least like stood for something and maybe tried to like build some kind of, politics. Like Iowa Democrats that actually stand for things like, maybe they could like try to build support for something, a little better instead of like bending over backwards to meet Republicans where they are. And I don't know if you've ever talked to a Republican, but where they are right now is not a place that any like sane person wants to be. So, The
Rob Sand campaign as it exists right now is partially a result of a long trajectory of losing and not really giving anyone a reason to be upset that you lost.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I understand he doesn't want to upset the balance too much because that's where his income comes from. And two, you have to appeal to the majority of voters who are dumb and evil. Right? So I get the strategy, right? But like Evan was saying, he's getting puff pieces in national media. There's very little out there really criticizing him.
At all.
So I think that someone has to do it. And I'm sorry that we are not up to everyone's standards. We are just a couple of guys. Our only real qualifications to talk about this stuff is that we live here and we've read a lot of articles.
How about this? Pay us not to say it. All right.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm as corruptible as anybody.
That's how that's how democracy works, right? Under Citizens United. Just pay me not to say it. All right.
Nixon, come on. You can spare $10,000 to shut me up for a year, right? All right, I think we've probably said enough. You're allowed to disagree with us. You're allowed to think we're stupid. You're allowed to not listen to the show. It's all good. We're not mad at anybody, and I don't want you to be mad at us either.
Actually, we want more haters.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually true.
They weren't even hating.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, I think they just liked Rob Sand more than us, which again, fair.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Oh, yeah. And also, I think that a reason that this is hard for people to engage with is that this is like the central conflict of like being a person of conscience in America is that the party that's supposed to represent the good side is constantly compromising anybody's values. loses all the time, despite their opposition being like just flatly crazy and like objectionable. So I don't know. People get like, we're captured. We're a captured people, and you have to really engage with this is like really discouraging to see that the only option we have to have a Democrat governor in Iowa fucking sucks. It's a lot easier to just not accept how bad he sucks and to just avert your eyes.
Yeah. People want, good things to happen. They want to believe that they're doing something good that helps people. I mean, I get it. I just kind of lost faith in that like over a decade ago.
Right. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's weird. You have to believe that there's something better than this, but right now there isn't.
Yeah.
So it's hard. There's like a short term and a long term, and it's like so unpredictable. Things, as we've experienced, things can get significantly worse.
Mm-hmm.
Things are always getting worse, but sometimes they get better, and maybe they'll get better again. I don't fucking know. I think I can sum all this up very, very succinctly.
Who cares? Shut up.
I added that to the soundboard after last week because it made me laugh so hard when you said that. So
thanks, man.
That might come back. We might use that to sort of dismount from subjects we've decided we don't want to talk about anymore.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Republicans running for governor. There is, of course, a competitive, heated primary going on the Republican side this year. Randy Feenstra being the perceived frontrunner, current congressman from Iowa's 4th district. I don't know. He's friends with Donald Trump, I think, but Trump hasn't endorsed really. So anyway, this is a post from the Iowa Standard that came up on my Facebook feed. I don't follow them, but Facebook knows that I want to see all of their posts. So thank you to the algorithm.
I have the same thing going on.
So this was, I think, yesterday, maybe the day before I saw this. Randy Feenstra was asked about chemtrails this morning at West Side Conservatives. Here is how he responded. I didn't dig in to see if there was video of this. That would have been nice to have. But what do you think he was asked when it comes to chemtrails? What do you think this West Side Conservative was concerned about?
I mean, what are you going to do about it? There was that law that we talked about that I don't think passed. But got proposed. Also, I don't know if I mentioned in the podcast, but there's someone who on Instagram on every single Rob Sand post is asking him about chemtrails, and he hasn't even weighed in on this one. So, I don't know. Let's see what Randy has to say about it.
Yeah, Randy he has the courage to at least address the chemtrail mania.
What the people want.
This is what he said. So chemtrails behind our planes. You ever see that? All right. We've got to get to the bottom of this. At the federal level, we've talked about this many times. We've had some oversight on this. What is it? What does it look like? And you're right, we've got to get down to what's actually happening here. Thanks for the question. I agree 100%. There is no solution right now. I mean, the solution is understanding what it is and then mitigate. Make sure what's happening is, it's not just, we have to understand, is it just water vapor or is it something else? That's right. Amazing quote. You can tell that Jacob Hall at the Iowa Standard fucking hates Randy Feenstra because that is a very direct, exact quote. That's exactly what Randy said. No massaging it to make it seem more coherent. I love when quotes look like this.
It's actually water. It's ice. It's water vapor that turns into ice. Just FYI, Randy, if you want to use that one in your next town hall.
Because it's really up high, right? So
it's so
cold
high up
there.
It immediately freezes. Yeah.
Yeah. And the water vapor is coming from the toilet on the plane, right? People are peeing and then...
It's crystallized piss, actually.
Chemtrails are pee, right? You're so scared. It's just pee. Come on.
Which is fine. It's fine for the environment. It might kill some grass, but, overall, it's fine.
It's not that much pee.
Yeah, it's not that much pee. And pee is mostly water anyway. Pee is mostly water.
Nothing wrong with a little pee-pee. I mean, not everyone's okay with it. People are kind of grossed out about it. But I mean, grow up. It's just pee.
Yeah. least you know what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like Randy Feenstra, all the federal commissions about trying to get to the bottom of like very basic, very basic stuff.
Yeah, I didn't do any research, but I do wonder how much time has been spent on chemtrails in the halls of Congress. Hopefully a lot.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's like does it take that much time to figure out what's going on? Like the planes are pretty well regulated, right, by the federal government, like commercial flight. So like it's not like you can't just study what's happening with the planes. And I think we have. I would imagine that we have scientists on the case when it comes to air travel.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they know what the trails are that follow behind the planes. I think we have studied this. I haven't. I can't. I'm a little bit scared of heights, so I can't get up there to check out the chemtrails myself.
Right.
All right. So on the Feenstra thing, there's a bit of controversy this week, not because of what he said about chemtrails, but because of what he said about schools. Mm-hmm. So this might take us some time because this is like a pretty heavy one.
Yeah, I saw that statement he put out, and I was like, I don't know how well this is going to go over. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is what
has not gone over well.
Republicans really want to hear right now.
No,
anyone can go to a private school. That's for public schools. Anyone can go to a public school. Anyone can take money from a public school and take it to a private school, but we have to have admission standards so we can filter out the undesirable children.
I love this because it's like really getting to the root of the issue, which is that should we allow segregation or not?
Yeah.
And I'm going to come down hard on the side of no, we should not be segregating schools, which is what private schools are. All right. So reading from Iowa Capitol Dispatch, Robin Opsahl. Feenstra says private schools' ability to turn down students is an issue to look at. So in some ways, it sounds like this statement is similar to what he said about chemtrails. This is a thing we need to be concerned about and pay attention to. Republican gubernatorial candidate Randy Feenstra said Wednesday he would consider changing Iowa's education savings account program related to private schools' ability to reject students. One person asked Feenstra about his opinion on the ESA program for K through 12 students. You know, this is the thing where you can get a voucher. They don't call it a voucher system, but that's what it is, where your tax money moves with you from the public school system to a private school, probably a Christian school. Feenstra said he lives in Sioux County, which has, quote, about as many private schools as we do public schools. He said he believes both private and public schools have benefited from the chance to compete against each other to provide the best education. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that the public schools have certainly benefited from a lot of their resources being siphoned away from them. And I didn't fact check this either, but I take his word for it. They have as many private schools as public schools in Sioux County. And I wonder what the stats are around the state in general. I know that I would imagine a lot of rural counties don't have any private schools. I remember that was a concern when the voucher system was first being passed. Yeah,
it's too unfair to rural communities.
Yeah, that's what we should be considering with all of our laws, by the way, is how fair they are to the minority of the state. He said he believed in a parent's right to decide where their child receives an education, a position he took further than many other Republicans, saying this could include requiring private schools to accept all students. I am supportive of the idea of ESAs. I just will say this, is that every school has to make sure they take every child, right? If we have to compete on a level playing field, the playing field has to be level all the way. That's so important. And then he, talking to reporters after, this was an event where he was like interfacing with the public, but when he talked to reporters, he said private schools turning down some prospective students was a topic, quote, we need to look at. He did not directly answer questions on whether private schools would need to honor a student's individualized education program requiring specialized instruction needs, or if a private school would be able to deny students' applications on the basis of special education needs or other considerations like space limits. All of this, again, really gets to the root of the problem, which is that we should just invest all of this into one public school system so that all the students' needs are met, rather than deciding this isn't good enough, I'm taking my student out of this school. No, we all have to collectively take care of this. Education is a human right that needs to be guaranteed to all of our kids across the board. So we got to figure it out. Give money to the schools. Just hire more people. Make it work. Just fucking make it work.
Yeah. I don't think private and public schools competing is anyone's... I mean, I guess other than, the most dyed-in-the-wool conservatives, but, that is such an insane idea.
Yeah, competition being
we need
a good no matter what. Competition always good. Market.
Yeah, and not like a race to the bottom or anything.
Right, right. Yeah, there's if you are a totally brainwashed believer in capitalism, you believe that competition always results in better outcomes for the consumer. I don't think that applies to probably most aspects of life. I think cooperation and sort of aligning your goals to a good competition is not the motivation that makes things good. I don't know. It's what the fuck am I saying? People know what I mean, right? Can I just play this and stop talking?
Who cares? Shut up.
But it's orienting the entire economy towards profit growth rather than meeting the basic needs of all people, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing, but as education. There are parents that say, I'd like my kid to go certain places. I want the parent to be allowed to pick that school, Feenstra said. Again, I'm supportive of ESAs, and I want to make sure that the program is successful for all kids. I'll move on to something more interesting in a second, but Feenstra said he was excited to debate Rob Sand, who he said was misrepresenting himself as a moderate candidate. You'll have a Pritzker Part 2 in Iowa if we don't beat this guy.
Yeah, the extreme liberal Rob Sand. That's so funny. That's what they clearly, whatever consultant group that he's working with decided that's going to be what does it. It's also funny, Rob Sand thing is all these conservatives don't believe him when he says he's a conservative. And then a lot of Democrats are kind of ignoring the fact that he's basically, a conservative.
Yeah.
And we're the only ones who believe him when he says who he is,
Yeah. That's what's so maddening about this is nobody is looking at the objective truth of Rob Sand.
I believe Rob Sand is who he says he is,
Yeah. Yeah. We're the only people listening to him. All right, so Adam Steen, of course, did not take this well. Steen is one of the other guys running for the nomination. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how he tried to get Eddie Andrews kicked off the ballot. Adam Steen is a dirty trickster, but he is gunning for Feenstra. He is further right-wing than him. He's willing to say a bunch of offensive stuff to the media to win over the hooting masses. This is a statement released by the Steen campaign yesterday about what Feenstra said about private schools. The subject line is, Randy Feenstra betrays Christian schools. It's a betrayal so shocking that we had to verify it ourselves before we responded as a campaign. I cannot believe a Republican member of Congress and candidate for governor has this position, let alone is willing to articulate it. The position was that private schools should not be allowed to reject students.
Yeah, discriminate against students.
If they are receiving tax money. When asked recently about education savings accounts, Randy Feenstra said, I will just say this. Every school has to make sure they take every child, right? Commanding every school to take every child would include requiring Christian schools to take students with fundamentally different belief systems. So what are we saying? Christian schools should have to accept Muslim students or something? Is that what he's worried about?
Isn't the point of having a private Christian school is that you can indoctrinate the children? I mean,
sure,
change their minds, man. Come on.
Right.
Have some faith in your faith and change their minds.
That's a good point. You really just want to have an echo chamber in there? A core belief of the Christian faith, as well as a belief held by many Republicans, I'm going to pause here.
Many
I'm going to pause here. I'm going to think about the core beliefs of the Christian faith. I was raised in the Christian faith. I attended a lot of services at Methodist churches from ages 0 to 19. Core beliefs of the Christian faith, to my understanding, are that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, born as a man. All right, there's some sort of a magic that happened there.
Yeah,
he was both God and man, and that he was without sin. But all of us are born with sin. What's it called? Eve ate the apple. Original sin.
Original, yeah.
Yeah, because of what happened in Genesis, we are all born imperfect, and we cannot overcome the temptation of sin, and so we are separated from God to some degree, right? In order for humanity to overcome their sin, God sent his son to become a person on earth, and Jesus Christ, he was crucified by humanity, and through that death, he took on the sin of the world. Okay, and then he was resurrected. I don't know how this all really works, but because he was crucified and took on the sin of us, he went to hell for us briefly, and then his human body came back to life on earth. He was like, hey guys, I took care of all that sin for you, so if you just sort of accept this deal from here going forward, that I'm the guy who will sort of eat all of your sin, as long as you agree to that, you think that all this is real, you'll be good, and you can come join me in heaven later when you die. And then he flew up into heaven. Okay, those are the core beliefs of the Christian faith.
Happy belated Easter. We should have talked about this on the last episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, this happened after Easter, but that's the deal. Those are the core beliefs of the Christian faith. To my knowledge, that is it. That's the thing that you have to believe to be a Christian. That's central to it, is that you accept this deal from the Son of God. Mm-hmm. And you cannot absolve your sin without doing that. So if you do that, then you die, you get a good afterlife. If you don't, you get a bad one. Okay, that's it. But according to Adam Steen, a core belief of the Christian faith, as well as a belief held by many Republicans, is that boys cannot become girls and vice versa. Oh, that seems a lot more myopic than the thing I was talking about.
Also, yeah, I don't actually think that's anywhere in the Christian faith. I don't think that was something that they were really too concerned about.
No, I mean, they were struggling with sort of basic hygiene at the time that a lot of those things were being written down. I don't know that they were really getting into the gender stuff that heavy. There are gender roles that exist at the time, but it's not really part of it, I don't think. Under a Feenstra administration, this raises serious concerns about whether faith-based institutions would be forced to compromise the very principles they were founded on.
I think after your description of, Christian dogma, I don't think that's true. I don't think that those were the principles. I mean, I feel like any Christian school is founded on Christian principles, right?
Probably.
So, I don't think it's a compromise there.
No. Yeah. I mean, isn't what I just described, isn't that the thing that we are all imperfect. And so by seeking, guidance from God and Jesus, we sort of, we can overcome our imperfections and do the best we can. And, even if you think that, this gender stuff is sinful and an abomination, so what? Mm-hmm. I don't believe it's a sin, to be clear. I don't really believe in the concept of sin anymore.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But that's the thing. It's you can sin. That's how it works. As long as you accept Jesus Christ as your savior, then that sin ends up getting wiped out when you die.
Yeah. First take the plank out of your own eye, right?
That's something in there, right?
Yeah. I always thought that was funny. I'm just imagining a guy with a 2x4 stuck under his eyelid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's a good image of a hypocrite. Iowans want true school choice, which means freedom of conscience and association. potentially forcing Christian schools to import beliefs and behaviors contrary to their deeply held convictions is the exact opposite of that. So certain people deserve certain freedoms.
I mean, going back, like, Christians, like, go on so many missionary trips. They're out trying to convert people of different ideologies, different faiths, like, all the time. So, you know, I think if kids who are not Christian want to go to your Christian school, that's an opportunity. You should be looking at it like an opportunity. If you believe all this shit, which, you know, again, we don't, but like, it's just insane.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, look, what I was describing as Christianity has some merit to it, I think, you know. I don't really believe in the metaphysical aspects of it. I do think that there is something valuable to the concept of, like, nobody's perfect, but, you know, we should seek to be better, and we can do that through some sort of, like, community, right? That's sort of what a church is, right? But yeah, this is laying bare that, like, no, I want to have an enclave where a walled fortress where only my belief system is discussed and there is no outside world allowed in. We think of them as the other and we lock them out. And that is what I want my tax dollars going towards. Let me make it very clear that Congressman Randy Feenstra is telling you that he has the same position on religious liberty that Rob Sand holds. I thought this was an interesting part of this statement.
A man of God. Again, we believe Rob Sand, he's devout. He's devout.
Totally.
He's flipping tables. He's out here flipping tables.
Yeah. I thought this was a really interesting part of this because I think he's more or less right. Like, they're not saying much different when it comes to the private school thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you accept the voucher program, I mean, it does, like, public dollars should, again, benefit everyone. Even, I mean, like, they're trying to infiltrate, the public system with,
and abolish it eventually.
But, like, if you're going to put tax money towards this program, then, it kind of should benefit everyone.
Yeah. There has to be some government oversight of it. And, like, I don't think private schools should, like, be a thing. But especially if we're going to be siphoning money from public schools into private schools, like, we have to have some collective input here. Like, Iowans have seen similar situations before, including the case of a Christian florist who was pressured to act against her deeply held beliefs. I don't recall this. This isn't the cake thing. This is a different thing.
Yeah, I was thinking of the cake thing, but I don't know what the
that
fuck
was Colorado,
about.
if I remember right. But is this a florist in Iowa? Sorry that I forgot whatever culture war battle happened that is still on your mind, Adam. Numerous other attacks against religious freedom and conscience that have gone all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Feenstra's comments suggest a willingness to side with government mandates over individual conscience. Individual conscience. And you're talking about a school admissions process.
Yeah, right.
Like, why should one person's conscience, like, really be the rule of that?
This child is too much of a sinner for us to accept. This child, his sins cannot be forgiven. This is weird. It's framing, like, transgenderism as, like, a mortal sin that cannot, even the light of Christ cannot absolve you of deciding you're a girl. You are, like, you have deeply rooted issues if you believe that like you believe in the concept of sin and whatever, and you believe that somebody assigned male at birth now wears makeup as an adult is absolutely destined to hell, eternal torture because of that. Like, cannot possibly have a relationship with your God. Like, you have rejected the gender roles dictated to you by your creator. If you wear a blouse and you were born with a penis, my God, heaven help you, because I certainly won't. Yeah. Very unchristlike.
People don't say it enough. Maybe because it's so obvious to those of us who are reasonable, but these people are nuts. To get this hung up on like something so inoffensive.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a terrible way to live your life. It's a terrible way to live your life, man. Repent.
It's extremely important that schools, I'm speaking in his voice, I'm not reading his statement right now, but it's extremely important to me that schools have the right to deny admission to a child. But that's freedom to me. But freedom is not, you have the right to appear as you want to in public. You have the right to like adjust your clothing and your body in a way that you see fit. You don't have the right to do that, but schools have the right to basically deny black children. I mean, that's another thing that we didn't say out loud yet, is that like so many private schools that exist right now have their roots in like post-integration.
Yeah.
You know, like
totally. We
don't want our white kids going to school with black kids, and so we are making our own schools. You know, that's the same thing being displayed right here.
Yeah, and then also like the whole thing about like, oh, like we don't have the ability to accommodate students with special needs. Like, if you're going to take public money, you should be able to do that, right? Like, we should make you do that, probably.
yeah.
Or again, just abolish the idea of private schools.
Right. The alternative is, actually the government is just going to take over the building and now this is a public school.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't provide an education to students, to all students, you're not a fucking school. You're done. Steen concluded, "This is not complicated. Iowans must be assured that their next governor will defend their religious beliefs, and I will." I'll also remind you that this is the guy who violated the constitutional rights of Iowa Satanists and is very proud that he did so. So he will, when he says that, he means I will protect the rights of Christians to discriminate against everyone else. That's what he means by defending your religious beliefs. Not mine, not my religious beliefs, but his own. Probably not, not even all Christians. There are some like liberal, chill Christians out there who I'm sure he sees as fake Christians.
Unitarian Church is the enemy.
Yeah. Oh boy. So you remember Bob Vanderplatz?
Yeah. How could I forget?
He endorsed Steen, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
he's endorsed
he did.
Steen recently.
Yeah.
So he also was very concerned about this statement from Randy. And he posted, "This is a very slippery slope. To undo the parental rights and school choice we fought so hard for." And then a very long ellipsis, a lot of periods. Boomer posting.
Yeah, and then hashtags.
Yeah.
Hashtag school choice. Hashtag parental rights.
Oh, God.
That's also very boomer. People, I love to go on Facebook and look for every post that's tagged with hashtag parental rights.
Parental rights. What about the kids,
Yeah.
Let's hear from Randy, actually. I have a clip of him interviewed by WHO recently on the topic of education. I don't recall if we've played his voice on the show before. Or no, I think, well, no, because that ad of him, he doesn't speak in it.
Well, yeah, maybe we haven't.
I don't know.
Yeah, I tell you what, we got to get back to world-class education. When I graduated in 1987. Okay, it tells you my age.
1987. So he was probably born in 69-ish. Mm-hmm. So he's about 60.
But in 87, we were number one in education, and we've slipped a long ways. We got to get back to that world-class education. And to do that, we got to get back to the fundamentals and teach the fundamentals of math and science and history. Get out of all the political agendas, DEI and all this stuff. We also have to get rid of the bureaucracy.
Yes, conservatives. I believe the things that you believe. I love how he always comes across as like, I don't know, not really committed to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Steen does a better job of like, yes, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool psycho just like you. But Randy's just like, DEI stuff is bad.
Yeah, well, he like laughs and smiles through like every question.
Yeah.
Like Rob Sand, if they're going to be the two that compete against each other, Rob Sand does at least sometimes have like moments of like seriousness or somberness. But it seems like Feenstra is just like glad handing his way through his entire campaign.
New heights.
Parents were both teachers for over 35 years. My wife taught kindergarten for 24 years, and they say the same thing, is that, they're so inundated in all the paperwork that has to be done, all the bureaucracy, that they don't teach anymore. We got to make sure that teachers are teaching and remove
kindergarten bureaucracy and paperwork. I'm not a public school teacher. I don't really know what he's talking about here, but kindergarten teachers are so buried in paperwork that they don't teach anymore.
all the bureaucracy that's happening in these schools. And I look forward to working with parents, because we're going to put kids first when it comes to education.
Why don't you work with the kids then, not their parents?
Also, like, what do you think made Iowa like, good at education in the back, in like centuries ago, or centuries, like in the 60s or 90s or whatever.
1600s.
They consolidated a bunch of schools. They forced a bunch of schools, like, they got rid of all like the one-room schoolhouses, and they had mandates for, there is a lot of, actually bureaucracy involved in
their
making
freedom,
those schools good. Like,
the government made them do something. That conflicts
right
with my belief system. Yeah, I mean, all of that talk about like bureaucracy, he's just talking about funding cuts, right?
Yeah.
They have all these employees that they don't do anything. They're not teaching nobody. Get them out of there. Meanwhile,
have AI do the paperwork. I have actually seen teachers talk about using AI for, like the boring paperwork parts of their job. Yeah, which I don't know, seems like a decent use case if there's any.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm of two minds on that. There are no excuses to ever use AI for anything in its current incarnation. It can only be used for evil. But also, I mean, they're not fucking paying you enough to do all that boring shit. Yeah. So I can't really blame anyone for finding a way out of it.
Yeah, if it helps you like focus on the stuff that actually matters,
Yeah.
But neither here nor there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about Randy, we've talked about Adam. I mentioned Eddie. Brad Sherman seems to be completely irrelevant at this point. But the other guy that we like to talk about is Zach Lawn, the guy who worked for the Koch Foundation as a fundraiser. And he's also a private school guy, because he started a school with one of the Koch sons' wives, and then he married the wife that he made the school with. I don't know why I'm so hung up on the like personal life aspect with him, but it is really
pretty
intriguing.
Interesting.
I want to know what happened. Okay, there's not much to read here, but Brianne Pfaffenstiel reported in the Des Moines Register earlier this week that Zach Lawn plans a 6-figure TV advertising buy in the GOP governor's race. So he's dumping more money into this. And yeah, that mention of the finances, so it got me interested in like how much money do these guys actually have. Fortunately, Brianne Pfaffenstiel wrote at the end some information here. Feenstra leads the Republican field in fundraising. He ended the last year with about $3.2 million in cash on hand. Zach Lawn followed with $2.1 million in the bank at the end of the year. So that's a good chunk of money. An amount bolstered by the $2 million loan he made to his campaign. Oh, it's his own
That's
money.
Awesome. Or maybe his wife's money.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, Yeah, I imagine when you divorce a member of the Koch family, you probably get a decent payout for that.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's unclear. So those are the two guys who definitely have advertising out there on TV, Feenstra and Zach Lawn. It's unclear whether the three other GOP candidates will have the ability to air TV ads leading up to the June 2nd primary election. Oh, God, that's coming quick. Adam Steen ended the year with about $336,000 in cash on hand. Brad Sherman had about $85,000. and Eddie Andrews tallied just $5,000. So, is he really running? I do think if you take the Zach Lawn $2 million self-loan out of this all kind of makes sense, because Steam definitely seems like the actual number 2 right now.
Yeah.
A distant number 2, but...
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to stop Feenstra, to be honest.
It seems like it's just going to happen, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's pretty funny.
We also didn't talk about it, but he got the Brandstad endorsement, which I don't know how much weight that carries, but I mean... He's a pretty big guy in Iowa politics, if you're a Republican.
Yeah, I mean, longest serving governor ever. Not even here, but ever in the whole country.
Yeah. And gave us Kim Reynolds, you know?
Yeah.
So
what a legacy. So let's see where some of that money is going. Zach Lawn is spending so much money getting ads on TV. You haven't watched this yet, right, Evan?
I have not.
Okay, this is going to blow you away. All right, so wait until the end. You're going to be stunned by what you learn.
The soil beneath our feet isn't a commodity for hedge funds, China, or out-of-state investors to buy and sell. It's our inheritance as sons and daughters of Iowa. It's time to ban secret ownership, tax the heck out of the Wall Street hedge funds, and use those funds to lower property taxes for every Iowan. Iowa land belongs in Iowa hands always.
Paid for by Lane for Governor.
What did he say? Lane?
We fucked this up the entire time?
Lahn is pronounced Lane? I don't think so. His name is Zach Lawn, and I'm not backing down on that. Yeah, I thought the same thing, though. Like, I watched some of that Tucker interview. Did I not hear him say his name ever? Like, I thought it was Lawn. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying Lawn. I do think it's appropriate that one of the first things he mentions is soil. He doesn't say blood, but he does imply it.
Yeah. Get the damn Chinese out of our soil.
Yeah. It's our birthright as Iowans, this land that we live on. It's actually not. I mean, you know, we kind of, there were people here before the white people, Zach.
There were.
It's not really ours. I do.
Also, you're not going to tell farmers not to make decisions that are economically advantageous to them. For shame.
Yeah, you got a good point there. You know, I'm selling out if I'm sitting on a big chunk of land and the secret Chinese come calling. You know, dude, it's yours. Hey, I got no problem with it. I mean, what are they going to do any worse with it than good old Americans? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Honestly, fuck it. Let China take over all the land in Iowa. They'll probably do something more sustainable than what we're doing right now. Doesn't bother me at all. I do love tax the heck out of whatever he said. I don't even remember who he was taxing the heck out of.
Hedge funds.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, that
sounds good. I don't know about. I don't really care about the property tax part of that, but you know, probably could use it for something better. But you know,
yeah. He's appealing to these sort of like homestead fantasy type people with that ad image of his huge white family in a big house with nothing in sight around the house.
Yeah, for sure.
You just live in a big field, no neighbors anywhere. Your huge white family just living there, what they earned. Oh, wait.
Sending your kids to private schools.
Or no school.
That's a possibility. Well, except he does have the whatever.
He made his own school.
Yeah, his own school.
Coke school.
That's kind of homeschooling.
Yeah, when you make
just starting your own school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, if you've ever been to one of these like small Christian community schools, it's like maybe 2 degrees removed from homeschooling.
Right.
Basically the same thing. So best of luck to him. I don't know if that message is really going to resonate with enough people to put him over the top to beat Randy Feenstra's institutional power. Another thing to keep in mind is farmers are a minority of the state, despite what all of the political posturing would imply. Most people voting aren't actually farmers.
Yeah.
Let's turn back to the Democrats here. I think we could probably end on this. The Zach Walz, Josh Turek battle for the Senate nomination. We touched on this last week, didn't really have time to get into it, but Zach Walz was criticized in a Washington Examiner article, if I remember right, for his time as the leader of the Iowa Democrats, the Senate minority leader. He was spending, like, he knew his time was limited. He was getting as much as he could out of that position of authority. And yeah, it seems like he's weathered that storm. He's still, there's not a ton of polling on this, but it seems like he's still beating Turek for now. But speaking of ad buys.
Yeah. Hard to escape the Josh Turek ads.
Josh Turek has completely taken over Instagram, as far as I can tell. Mm-hmm. It is like every time I open that app, I see Josh Turek on his wheelchair talking about his dad's Agent Orange exposure. Which, yeah, if I was him, I would want everybody to know about that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So the two of them, Zach Walz and Josh Turek, spoke at an event for the End Citizens United Action Fund. It's pretty funny. It's an action fund to end Citizens United.
Yeah, yeah.
It probably exists because of Citizens United. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything's a mess when it comes to campaign financing in the United States. Rich people own everything. If in case you didn't know that out there.
I don't know if you didn't know this, but our entire country, the entire goal of it is to just funnel money to like a few people.
Right.
Is everything, if you look at every political, argument or any political ideas in this country with that lens, it'll all make sense.
Right. If you've noticed that, like, since you were a child, everything has gotten worse and stupider, that's why.
Yeah.
All right. Robin Opsahl, Iowa Capital Dispatch. Zach Walz criticizes Josh Turek for, quote, dark money support and immigration bill vote. We will talk about both of these things. Both are important. All right. So Zach Walz, Josh Turek running for U.S. Senate, Democrat side, seeing who will be the guy to lose to Ashley Hinson this November. Progress Iowa and End Citizens United hosted a forum on Wednesday at the State Historical Society in Des Moines. The candidates fielded questions on issues like affordability, healthcare, and immigration. The two candidates, who answered questions from moderators separately, were both asked what distinguishes them from their primary opponent. Now, this is a great question because it seems like they're pretty much the same.
We're having a hard time figuring that out ourselves.
Walz pointed to the funding for his and Turek's campaign as a major divider. Sorry, campaigns, because they are separate campaigns. There is a real difference in this race, Walz, a state senator from Coralville, said. Actions have to speak a lot louder than words. We're talking right now about the impact of corporate PAC money and how that has affected a lot of Iowans in our economy. But right now, there is a dark money super PAC that is currently spending millions of dollars bolstering Rep. Turek's campaign. These are the ads that I keep seeing on Instagram. The Vote Vets super PAC, which supports Democratic veterans, has spent at least $2.5 million in the race on ads supporting Turek and introducing him to Iowans. Okay, Vote Vets. Let me say this again, which supports Democratic veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see the Vote Vets logo and you see an image of Josh Turek, what do you assume? Turek, a state representative from Council Bluffs, is not a veteran. This is cool. It's a veteran PAC that is doing stolen valor for their chosen candidate. Very cool.
Yeah, I guess, being a veteran you don't inherit that from your parents. So, like, even if your dad was exposed to Agent Orange, which caused your spinal bifida, you don't get to claim that status.
That is interesting. It is interesting. I mean, Vote Vets seems to endorse that theory that if your dad was a vet, you're a vet. I mean, obviously the connection makes sense. Like he because his father was a veteran in a very fucked up illegal war that we did. He was born with a condition that has impacted his entire life. So I get why Vote Vets would support him, and there's a connection that makes sense. But technically, he's not a veteran. Vote Vets has received money in the past from other Democratic leadership fundraising organizations, such as the Senate Majority PAC, which are aligned with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. So it's the Senate Majority PAC, but they're working for the minority party. How did that happen?
Well, because they're constantly trying to gain a majority and rarely having it.
That reminds me, I believe it was the Iowa Democrats who had the Twitter handle at Senate Majority.
Yep.
Back when I was on Twitter. Walz linked the support Turek's campaign has received from Vote Vets with his own criticism of Schumer and current Senate Democratic leadership in Washington. I think that this is an interesting lane that Zach Walz has taken for himself. That hey, if I get in there, I will not vote for Chuck Schumer to be leader of the but the Senate Democrats. And Turek cannot say the same because he is getting money from Chuck Schumer, more or less. Smart.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It's really hard to see Zach Walz as like an anti-establishment figure. I don't think,
it's posturing for sure.
He's going to fall in line if he gets elected. I hope everyone realizes he is not going to be rocking the boat.
Yeah. Our friend Zach is not really a maverick. I don't know. He's an interesting character, that whole saga where he was the Senate leader. And he did a video sort of explaining like why the Iowa Democrats have beef with him. And it's a weird video. He recorded it like probably 5 blocks from my house. That video of him like walking into a doctor's office.
Yeah.
It's a really weird video. Selfie video. He walks into what looks like an empty doctor's office and sits down and whatever. I'm getting into the weeds here. Hang on. Let me just,
who cares? Shut up.
Thank you, Evan. Turek told reporters after the forum that Vote Vets is a super PAC that has decided to support his campaign, but said the campaign does not directly engage with the group.
I think that's kind of fair, honestly. Like, Josh Turek does not strike me as like some kind of guy who is like, I think he like organically was like a candidate that had appeal, he won, his win in the Iowa Senate was impressive. Because he won in red district and whatever. I think it was more after the fact that like he was identified as like someone that would be good for like the, Senate Democrats to invest in.
Right. Yeah.
More so than him like courting that support.
Yeah. I don't think that he's lying here when he says support from the super PAC does not change the fact that he is calling for removing dark money groups from politics. It's just funny.
Yeah, it is.
This is what the situation is in American politics is that, money runs everything. It's the people who invest in these campaigns that kind of like dictate the narrative for everybody, whether the candidates like it or not. We've given super PACs way more power than they should have. We should probably be regulating campaign finance a lot more strictly, but that would be a violation of the First Amendment. Thank you to the Supreme Court. We've been living with that ruling ever since. Where is this? There's a really good bit here. National Republican Senatorial Committee spokesperson Samantha Cantrell said Walz's comments showed the messy primary race and lack of support for Schumer as a leader. The frontrunner in Iowa's messy Democratic primary. Sorry. I must correct myself. The frontrunner in Iowa's messy Democrat primary used their first candidate forum to double down on his opposition to Chuck Schumer as leader if elected to the Senate. Remember, that's a dog whistle, right? It's racist or something if they say Democrat instead of Democratic.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say it was racist to try to remove Chuck Schumer as Senate Minority Leader.
That's also true. I also believe that. Iowa's Democrat base is rallying behind Zach Walz's calls for a new Democrat leadership, and Schumer's handpicked recruit, Josh Turek, is paying the price. There's some truth to that, but I think that you'll find most people not really that invested in this primary. Most people are not paying that much attention.
There really is not much to separate them.
No. I think that Walz is like, to the extent that he is distinguishing himself on like a policy basis, he is pushing a little bit more progressive type stuff.
Yeah.
But I also understand that he's never been in a competitive election in his career. So he's maybe overshooting his ambitions here.
He comes across as like phony. I know. I mean, that matters. It matters. Yeah. And also like the whole like thing of them both trying to be like, we're working class. Like, I think, Turek's got a better case for that. Like, Zach Walz, he went to like Princeton or something? Like,
I don't remember.
I don't know, man. Every time I see Zach Walz, I'm just like, this guy does not seem like he's really in it, you know?
Okay, this part of the article I do think we should discuss, and then we can wrap up the episode. But, you know, a lot of this is kind of messy primary stuff. They're getting petty with each other and whatnot. But this actually, I do think, is an important distinction between these two guys. Walz also criticized Turek when asked about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement actions and collaboration with Iowa law enforcement. Walz repeated that actions speak louder than words and said Turek was one of 3 Democrats to vote in support of Senate File 2340, a 2024 law related to immigration law enforcement by state authorities. The measure, called the worst anti-immigrant law in Iowa's history by the ACLU of Iowa, gave Iowa law enforcement the ability to charge people with an aggravated misdemeanor if they had been denied admission, deported, or otherwise removed from the U.S., or if they currently have an order to leave the country. The law also gives state courts the ability to order the deportation of undocumented immigrants, with state agencies and law enforcement able to transport migrants to U.S. ports of entry to ensure they exit the country, allowing them to charge individuals with a felony if they do not comply with an order to leave. So making our bullshit immigration laws even more punitive and destructive.
Yeah, well, that's no good. Credit to Zach Walz. Zach Walz was on the right side of that one.
Yeah, he's quoted
for
here.
Sure.
I voted against that bill and I spoke against that bill. What I said then is 100% true today, which is that laws like that do not make Iowans more safe. They make Iowans less safe. Now here's where he starts to diverge from my point of view. We have to absolutely overhaul and reform ICE as an agency. We need to make sure that we have immigration enforcement that respects the Constitution, that respects basic human rights, and understands that every single person who lives in this country has basic rights under our Constitution. Zach, I think you know better than that. If we have a law enforcement agency whose primary purpose is enforcing immigration law, they're not going to respect the basic human rights of anyone.
Right. I think it's beyond reform.
This is not a rogue agency. They are doing what they were designed to do. It is an evil premise. Turek said his support for the 2024 legislation, passed during former President Joe Biden's tenure, was separate from current issues related to ICE actions happening under the Trump administration. You fucking dope. Does anyone buy this? And it was 2024.
Yeah,
could you not see the writing on the wall?
Not a good look, man.
You didn't even suspect that the federal government might be shifting a little bit in the near future. Not that ICE, not that ICE was doing good things under President Biden.
Yeah.
You're completely wrong about all this, Josh. This quote's, let's make it even worse. This applies to individuals that have come here illegally, committed a crime, have been deported. And I am someone that believes that we can recognize that we need safe and secure borders, but it's also not a mutually exclusive issue that we also need an easier pathway to citizenship and fundamental immigration reform. Turek said he understood the difficulties immigrants are facing under Trump's current immigration crackdown, being married to an Afro-Latina woman from the Dominican Republic.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but that's all the more reason to not vote for fucking anti-immigrant laws, dude.
Right.
Like, how can that be racist? I'm married to an immigrant. Well, maybe you should think about that before you vote for evil policies. I cannot believe that right now, in the United States of America, I'm having to tell my wife to keep her passport with her at all times. Turek said. I mean, what we were seeing is inhumane. It is unjust. At the United States Senate, I would not support any DHS funding without serious reforms to ICE. Not enough, buddy.
No,
it's not enough. It's got to go. And keep in mind, whoever wins this nomination is likely to lose the general election, right? So it's not set in stone, but Ashley Hinson is a force to be reckoned with in Iowa politics. And as some friends of ours are repeatedly pointing out to the rest of the media, Democrats have a serious voter registration deficit in this state and are, Rob Sand might be able to eke out a win, but it's not that likely, despite what Sabato's crystal ball might be telling you.
Yeah, it's a toss-up now. According, well, no, I don't know if that was Sabato.
It wasn't Sabato.
It was a different one, Cook or something.
I think it was Cook, yeah. But we love Sabato here. We are adherents to the crystal ball.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Sand. Yeah, well, just because it's a cool name. I mean, I love to. Who doesn't like to look into a crystal ball and see the future?
Yeah,
I mean, that's awesome.
That's how I make my decisions. That's how we plan the show, is looking into a crystal ball.
But yeah, I mean, Rob Sand has a lot of advantages that these two don't.
Totally.
One being he's an incumbent, and two being that he has a completely cleared out primary field where he's. I mean, like we've talked about, he is not. He doesn't even try to do like a normal primary campaign. He's going straight to general. He's not going to change his messaging at all when it comes to the general election, which is, not what we like to hear, but probably a good good campaign strategy at least.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll see.
According to the logic of his campaign and the Iowa Democrats.
We'll see. Yeah. My point being though that like you were talking about earlier, decades of deterioration in this state, Democratic power, and despite losing more and more, the message gets moderated and compromised more and more every time. It's not a winning strategy, right? So if you're likely to lose, why these half measures with even like statements opposing the brutality and racism and fascism of the federal government? Like, we need to seriously think about reforming ICE. Like, you're gonna lose anyway. Just fucking say the truth. Like, what are we doing? They fucking kill people. Like, we have concentration camps where people are like getting diseases that we thought were eradicated. Like, we are doing the Third Reich again in America. And you're like, we need to seriously consider pulling some of this funding from this agency.
I don't know, but have you seen the way that liberals be talking on Blue Sky? Like, a lot of, they're okay with a certain level of brutality. They're okay with a certain level of fascism, I would even say. There's a lot of people out there. Also, I mean, the whole, again, like, the way that their messages have been watered down to appeal to, moderate Republicans and try to get them to switch their vote. Those people have more influence over the party now than they did in the past. Like the whole like Bulwark, like fucking
Bill Kristol,
all these, former conservatives who are jumping in. I mean, they're still conservatives, but they're just switched parties. And now they're saying this is what we need to do to win.
Right.
According to what benefits my ideology.
Yeah. So again, this is the central conflict of like being a person with a conscience in America, paying attention to politics, is that it is completely dominated by people who do not have consciences. Your choices are between fascism and a little bit of fascism. Okay. And we're trapped. So like you can see that there are benefits to a little bit of fascism as opposed to full-blown fascism. So I understand why people are like, yeah, you have to support them because of harm reduction and whatever. But like some people really cannot endorse that much harm. It's not reduced enough for me. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's not, you can't change politics that way. Like that's going back to the whole Rob Sand thing. His accountability platform.
Yeah. Accountability to me is some stuff's got to happen in the
Yeah.
some televised events could maybe happen.
Everyone in this administration in the Trump administration needs to go to jail. That's like, should just be like a baseline. Should be like a baseline thing, but they can't do that. That's not what the Democratic Party is about.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be ugly, but if that's how it happens every time the power shifts from one party to the other, they just imprison the previous administration. Yeah, fine. It'd be better than what we're doing now. Just every time, just lock them up every single time. Whatever. Yeah. I don't care about those people.
I think we need to get rid of all this anti-authoritarianism and decide what kind of authoritarian country we want to be. This is, oh shit. This is like what I said about how we can't actually talk about our real politics on here. I might have just slipped up.
We're going to lose our jobs over this one. No, we're fine. We have freedom of speech still.
Yeah.
All right, we should probably stop talking before we get ourselves into real trouble. So let's plug a few things. I got a couple shows coming up in the near future. My band Ascended... Wait, hold on. I have these out of order. We got to give these to you in chronological order. I'm playing a solo set at Frat House this coming Friday, April 17th. This is put on by a group called IC Jazz. The thing is, I don't play jazz. I'm playing a saxophone, so it's definitely jazz adjacent. But this show, I've been promised, is not going to be your typical jazz show. They're billing it as underground jazz. So this is going to be more on the experimental edge of that very large, encompassing genre of jazz. I'm going to play a solo set. We've also got The Dynasty and Little Do-Gooders. So this is going to be a weird night. I think that if you're into funky stuff, you'll be interested in this show. April 17th at Frat House. DM me for the address. And then next Sunday, Ascended Master, the hardcore band I play bass for, is playing a show supporting Class Act, a band from Kansas City. Local bands Boot Camp and Savage Little Suckers also on the bill there at Gabe's, April 19th. That's a stacked bill. That's going to be a good night as well. Okay, did you dislike anything we said today? We need... Clearly the criticism, it drove us. The beginning of this episode was heated because of the criticism we received for last week's episode. So give us a little bit more to go off of. Call or text 319-849-8733.
I think the same criticisms that person said on Patreon are probably going to apply to this one as well.
Yeah,
kind of wishy-washy, kind of go back and forth, like talk ourselves out of things. And
yeah, I hope people understand it a little bit better though now. It's like we're trapped here too with everybody else. So we're like trying to figure out like what can we like what's reality? What's what we actually want? It's not aligned exactly. What we want is it's possible. We know that, but it's not these are not the conditions that really allow for our type of thing.
Yeah. We're just impotently whining because there is no organized left with any power in this country.
319-849-8733.
Maybe we can start building that. I don't know. I'm not so good at that part of it.
I mean, there's people doing good stuff. It's just,
there are.
It's a constant struggle. There's a lot of pessimism involved, but you wouldn't even be talking about it if there was zero optimism, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if you like the show, if you think we had anything good to say and you would like more people to hear it, why don't you just tell your friends about the podcast? I don't fucking know. But you could also give us $1 and you will get access to more podcasts. Patreon.com/RockHardCaucus. We got a new series called Talking Shat that we just released. The final episode for now of, we talked to Bill Blank, Des Moines comedian who appeared on the show Invasion, Iowa with William Shatner about 20 years ago. We had a fun interview with him. The 6th episode of Talking Shat. You can go get that now. Patreon.com/RockHardCaucus. What will be coming to the Patreon next? I don't know. I'm busy. We're going to close out with some music now. Speaking of those Satanists I mentioned earlier, a member of the Satanic Temple of Iowa sent me this recording of members of their temple performing the song Lucifer's The Light of the World at XBK Live They played this during a Saturnalia holiday event last year. This is a song by King Dude. I don't know who that is.
That's awesome. I like that.
Also, I like musician, I think.
Yeah. Fuck Adam Steen. You should write songs about Adam Steen.
Yeah. Lucifer is the Light of the World, performed by members of the Satanic Temple of Iowa, is playing us out today. You can go to thesatanictempleiowa.com to learn more about those guys and gals and people. I'm sure some of them are not so strictly gendered. And if you have music that you would like us to play, please go to our website, rockhardcock.us. There is a submission link at the top. This was a submission, so you could have your submission played on the next episode. Please do. And a little bit of housekeeping before I turn off the mic. Next week's episode is going to be 1 day late, and you can speculate as to why if you look at your calendar. All right, that's all from us. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Tell me what's that lie? Tell me what's that lie? Lucifer's the light of the world. Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Lucifer's the son of the world. He walked down to the garden. The servant said, shall we begin? If God up above wants you so down, what kind of devil does that make him? Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Lucifer's the light of the world. Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Lucifer's the son of the world. Adam scorned was a party. He said, woman, you made me sick. He said the true God came down from a cloud, took a snake just to let the light in. Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Lucifer's the light of the world. Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Lucifer's the son of the world. Came down from the heaven, said, what have you two done? Said, if that's the kind of God you're gonna be, maybe heaven ain't so much fun. Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Tell me what's that light? Lucifer's the light of the world. Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Tell me what's that sun? Lucifer's the son of the world. Tell me what's that love? Tell me what's that love? Tell me what's that love? Lucifer's the love of the world. Lucifer's the love of the world.